Yeah, good evening, everyone. And it's nice to see everyone, in good shape, good health, and George looking very smart as well. So this is vitreomacular traction in MIPI retinal membranes that I'll be talking about. And this is probably the third year we are talking on this same topic. So VMTS is when the liquefaction and dehiscence of vitreoretinal interface do not match, and it results in an anomalous PVD. So VMTS is distortion of the fovea without full thickness interruption of the retinal layers. And it could be focal, less than 1500 microns, which may be known as, which sometimes called as vitreofoveal traction, or it could be broad, more than 1500 microns. There could be concurrent VMT as well, that could be associated with macular abnormalities in diabetic retinopathy, etc. VMA is elevation of cortical vitreous above the retinal surface without actually any change in the foveal contour. So these are asymptomatic cases. Anomalous PVD can lead to vitreoskisis, exudative ARMD, retinal tears, etc. So the pathogenesis is breakdown of the BRB, disturbance of macular microcirculation, and CME. The symptoms are decreased visual acuity, metamorphosia, micropsia, and all other sorts of things, which leads to difficulty in routine work. The complications can lead to macular holes, ERMs, and foveoskisis. The diagnosis, the mainstay is the OCT, the tool we all use routinely in our clinics, and it is graded as incomplete PVD with attachment at fovea, grade 1. Grade 2 is when the appearance of retinal cyst or clefts. Grade 3, when there are subretinal fluid as well. So the treatment of tractional macular edema is, sometimes we come across spontaneous resolution, which is quite infrequent though. It is 11% at 15 months of time. Mainstay of therapy is surgical, and it can be performed with or without removal. Gas injections have been found to be successful in few cases, and the highest rate has been 60% at 3 months. There's a lot of buzz about opriplasmin, which is about pharmacologic vitriolysis. So MIVI trust showed release rate of 26.5% in VMA at 28 days, better in young phakic patients with focal attachments without any ERM. The outcomes depend upon morphology and duration. So we show you a video of VMT. Thanks to Dr. Saravanan for this video. All the videos are provided by him, and he's a surgeon as well. So this is how we remove the VMT. But despite a good surgery, sometimes in the VMT, we may not have the outcome as expected. So simultaneously, subsequently I'll show you the ERM peeling videos, because the surgical, the maneuvers are almost the same. So once you remove the vitreous, the ERM is removed using a forceps here. So this is a simple case of ERM removal. Sometimes you come across very tough ERMs where there is a chance of de-roofing of fovea. So one has to, there's an animation simultaneously that will run the how we can avoid de-roofing of fovea. You can see that if you pull it just like that, there could be an appearance of macular hole. So what you need to do is you remove from all the sides. And gently peel it off without actually de-roofing the fovea. So this is an important step. So no surgery to be done in haste. It should be carefully done. You see, if you pull like this, see, there is a chance of de-roofing, there's a traction there. So remove from all the other sides, and then clear the ERM. There's another tough ERM where it was very difficult to find a cleft and peel it off. So a dye was used to stain the ILM, of course the brilliant blue dye, and then the ERM was removed along with the ILM. Let me move it faster. See, this ILM is being peeled off. And along with this, the ERM is also separated. So we all know that epiretinal membranes are the cellular proliferation on the inner retinal surface, and this usually results after PVD. The most common cause for ERM is the PVD. So it can be classified as idiopathic secondary or iatrogenic, and it is bilateral in up to 31% of cases. The prevalence is 7 to 12%. And it was significantly increased after cataract surgery. So it is important instruction to all the cataract surgeons that they should explain to the patient. And the peak age usually results from 70 to 79 years, and it is more common in females. So we will discuss here before going into other details of ERM, the interesting type of lamellar hole associated epiretinal proliferation, or LHEP. This is ST-OCT finding of homogeneous membrane of moderate reflectivity. It's an epiretinal membrane without evidence of traction, has visible connections to the middle layers, thinner fovea and higher prevalence of ellipsoid zone disruption, have poorer visual outcome, and exact pathogenesis still not known, could be a result of associated retinal injury. So these are the few photographs of LHEP. It's a lamellar macular hole. So there's a post-surgery. And this is 1 month post-surgery. It fills it up, though outcome is not very good. The clinical features, symptoms range from none to decreased vision, monocular diplopia or metamorphosia, CME, hemorrhage, heart exit, etc. It could break down of BRV, and may be associated with macular hole and pseudo holes. So this is what we are talking about as the macular holes. You can grade macular holes also 0, 1, 2, depending upon their appearance. It could be select fund maculopathy, irregular wrinkling of inner retina, opaque membrane obscuring the underlying vessels, and retinal distortion. Pathogenesis, we all know that it is 53% under 50 years and 65% over 65 years have PVD. It leads to secondary glasses. And in the absence of PVD, chronic irritation of molar cells leads to glasses, that is mechanical glasses, and ERM formation takes place. The diagnostic investigations of for ERM mainstay is the OCT again, and FFA is useful tool in cases of underlying vascular events or CNV. As I showed in the videos, that it's a mainstay of treatment is the surgical treatment, and indications usually is vision less than 6/18 or disturbing diplopia and metamorphosia. The prognostic factors are preoperative visual acuity, centrofoveal thickness, integrity of ellipsoid zone, and the outcomes are usually improvement of 2 or more lines in 6 to 12 months, improvement in contrast sensitivity, and stereopsis adds to quality of life. The pre-existing macular pathology may limit the outcome. We have already seen the surgical technique, no need to elaborate on that. Thank you very much.